people want to talk, and conversation leads to conversion. That's the very simple idea. And now you can allow that relationships at scale, but still seeing it working, it was really surprising in a good way. You can just do things, wake up, do things, and people will join if they see activity, if they see motion.
It sounds like a t-shirt, right? Wake up, do things. That's a kind of,
Yeah,
that's a kind of t-shirt. Yeah.
you can just wake up and do things, you know?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Ageus podcast. Buckle up. This episode is brought to you by Cards Biz, a business card too good to give away. This episode is brought to you by Better Weight for Life, transformational weight loss aid, led by U.S. board-certified physicians, providing access to GLP-1 medications like Wegovy and Zepbound that are proven to help you lose weight and keep it off.
Hello, Dan.
Hey, Chagai, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to see you. Happy to see you here. It's like that.
Yeah, me too. Thank
So-
you so much for giving me that opportunity.
I'm like, look, you're doing something very interesting, and we also talked before about how passionate you are about being an entrepreneur, and this is what we're interested in. We're interested in hearing about the entrepreneurial journey. We're interested to hearing about how people found themselves doing the pathless, less chosen, the hard path, the abusive path, sometimes even. So why don't we start? Dan, can I introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. So I'm Dan. I'm living in Ramat HaSharon, which is very close to Tel Aviv, with my wife Daphne and my two kids, Jonathan and Ellie. Studied philosophy and history at the university, and in the last 12 years, I'm working at the tech scene here in Tel Aviv, mainly doing product roles. I was at a company called Nexar for around 5 years, where I worked on mainly B2C products, but also some B2B partnerships we've done, mostly with insurance companies. At Nexar, that was the first company where I actually learned what it is to work at a product company. Was really lucky to have Ran Shir, the founder and CEO, and also Dan Pegin, who was VP Growth, mentoring me and teaching me what it is to build a startup. Seeing their tremendous growth really helped me with my journey. After that, I was working at a company called Lives. We've done a preventative health app for companies in the US, basically building their Maccabi or Kupat Cholim Klalit just in the US. Was
HMOs?
also super interesting. Sorry? No, we worked with employers, and around a year and a half ago, I launched Selens together with my co-founder and CTO, Aaron Avitzur, who is a great partner that I'm really enjoying meeting every day. At Selens, we built the first operating systems for B2C brands that wants to expand their marketing to another sales layer, which we can talk about very soon. That's it. This is.
So before we kind of go into the company and what it does and kind of the challenges and the opportunities you see, like, why did you choose this? Like, why not just, work at great startups, get a great salary, collect the options, and I don't know, like, you see, I don't have hair because I'm like, why risk your hair? Why worry?
Why worry? First, it's a great question because the day-to-day sometimes is hard, and it's not just hard for myself, which I can bear, but it's also hard for sometimes for your family, because basically that choice of being an entrepreneur, mostly in the first years of doing so, it's also very hard for the people around you, because they need to live with that decision to take a lower salary, to with more worries, and you need to deal with it and to look at at the eyes of it and basically say, oh, yeah, I know that I'm choosing also for others something in it that it's abusive, as you said. But I think that and I want to thank Daphne for being with me on that journey. But I think that the true answer for that is that you are not choosing to be an entrepreneur, and you're not choosing the hard way just because you want the hard way. It's just that feeling that you cannot do anything else if you want to be true to yourself. If you want to be, to just do what you need to do. It's not about what I want to do. It's what I need to do. I need to feel in charge. I need to set the path. I need to set the tone and the rhythm. And entrepreneurship is just the best way to do so, I think. At the end of the day, also, you know, I really like product management, and I think that looking at product management I was always trying to look at the product management profession in a holistic way. Basically, at the end of the day, your user is getting a product, and he's not differentiating between departments and saying, okay, this is the support team who did that, so it's not a product, and this is the marketing team who did that. So at the end of the day, he's looking at the full experience, and I think the way to control the full experience is basically to take charge of everything. And the other reason is that, we are living in an uncertain world. Everyone is dealing with this uncertainty. In the last few years, really pushed us to get to know uncertainty better than better than the last 40, 50 years of human history, maybe even more. And I think that, people have that feeling that they want to create some certainty in the world, so they are choosing the right degree and the right work and the right, so that it will feel certain to them. But at the end of the day, nothing is certain, and the only way to create some sort of certainty is to live, to really understand uncertainty and just enjoy the uncertainty, because the only thing that is certain is that we don't know anything. And in entrepreneurship, like every day you feel that
Yeah.
uncertainty, so it's really helps me to deal with that uncertainty in the world. So I think those are the reasons.
So there's a lot of to unpack there, but I one thing that came to mind is you were saying about the uncertainties. I think it's attributed to Steve Jobs, but the best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's the
Yeah,
only way to create
exactly.
it. And for me, that was always the thing. It's like you create, or you aspire to create certainty by going and creating something that you want, and not necessarily be
Exactly.
only reactive to the thing. So I mean, in our conversation, so this is interesting to me because one of the things I always like to discuss with fellow entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs born or made, in a way, and
Yeah.
it sounds, when you were speaking, that like as even as a child, you kind of told me that you felt that you were compelled to this. Like how early did it start? I mean, did you have like entrepreneurial tendencies when you were young, or was it just an issue
Yeah.
of desire of control, and you find yourself later in the field?
Yeah, it was very early. I could think about first I was always trying to invent in my own world of being a young person. If it was in the scouts, that I led the tribe, and I was really into changing things there, but also, and I was also very passionate about things as a young boy. If it was Maccabi Haifa, that I was really into going every match
For
and
those who don't know, that's a football team.
yeah, it's a football team. Every match, and not just that, but also, organizing the crowd with different settings for each game. I was really into it. So I think it's this passion of, changing the day to day and really being there that was just in me from the very beginning. I always knew that I will be an entrepreneur. Even when I've
What does
started
that
to
mean?
work at,
What does that mean? You always knew. It's okay.
I could not think of myself. I don't think it's, by the way, I don't have any feedback or on people who are choosing the path of not being an entrepreneur. I don't think it's just my,
Might be smarter than us. Let's start with that. It
yes,
might be even smarter.
of course, they are. No, it's just I knew when I started to work, I knew that I'm gonna found my own companies. I knew it. And then it was only a question of when or should I get some more expertise by working with people who are more senior than me. That when I joined Nexar, I knew that there are very smart people there, that I can learn a lot from them. And my only question was, should I be there now so that I could learn for the next few years, or I should start my own company now? It was just the only question, and I also remember when talking with my Daphne, we are together for 15 years. That I always told her that I didn't choose to go to learn computer science or law or things that give you that more certainty. I chose to learn history, and which is unrelated to what I'm doing. And people, not just me, everyone was a bit more concerned because that puts you more in this uncertain world. And I think that can't do what is certain. I cannot do that.
It's called an addiction, and it's good to know you have a problem because the first step of dealing with it, right?
Yeah, totally.
So Dan, why don't we start about talking about your current company and like so how did it happen? Because okay, so what I'm hearing so far is that you knew you wanted to do something, right?
Yeah.
You consciously also stayed in places that you enjoyed, but to learn how other entrepreneurs are doing it. Like what happened? Like how did you make the jump? Like what was your Spider-Man origin story that kind of brought you to
Yeah.
this?
So I knew that I want to found a company at some point, and I was always playing around with ideas when I was working as a product person. And I think there was some point where I understood that because I'm very passionate about my work and super, I can, I, I'm working a lot on the job that I'm doing. So I didn't have the time to really think and discover with who I want to partner and what I want to do. So there was a point where I said, okay, that's it. I don't have an idea and I don't have a partner, but I know that this is what I want to do and I need to jump. So I left my job, and then I started to basically do discovery phase with myself. And that's a very also not so easy moment because you are I'm biased to action, and to really be in that position of not having someone who is waiting for you today at the office. It's hard. It's hard from the perspective of yourself, of like how do you imagine yourself, but also from that feeling that every day you need to wake up and think like, what's the best way?
Am I really doing something? Am I really
Yeah,
working?
am I really doing
Yeah.
something? And and on that period I was really going deep in different ideas for like 2 months with that idea and killing it, 2 months with that idea and killing it and killing it and killing it. And it was really hard also to explain it to others. What are you doing now? I'm thinking about you know it's
I have all those dead bodies of ideas behind me. That's what I have to show
yes,
for.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And meeting different partners that you start to work with and you meet. And so it was really intentional. And I think there was few things. One, there was a time when after a few months that I said, okay, that's it. Like, either you do it or you don't do it. Stop thinking about ideas and different smart ways to kill them. I think that it's really interesting also that this all a YC approach of how to build a startup, actually, if we, coming back to the uncertainty in the world, they actually created a sort of feeling of certainty in creating an entrepreneurship, which is an oxymoron, but you have a playbook for now how to start companies, which is just the opposite of how you're actually being an entrepreneur. So I felt like I'm getting into that path of like doing what needs to be done to create a company. And there was a moment where I said, okay, I'm not going to listen or read these books anymore. I'm just going to start my own company. And at that time, I was working, advising to Nexar again, and I really saw how they struggled with B2C sales. At Nexar, we did B2C growth. We were very experienced in that, and I could say we did really interesting things. And during those years, for example, try before you buy was an idea. I don't know if there was actually companies who did that when we've started to do that. And we really built the playbook of like how to manage risk in try before you buy and how to market it. And we did a lot of crazy stuff, growth, really nice B2C growth. But we never had actually we never thought that it's actually possible to talk with the clients who are buying the dash cams that we sold, and we sold hundreds per day. And then at Nexar, when I was advising them after leaving the company, we've started an experiment, basically calling people who just left during the purchase process, and the conversion rates was just enormous. It was huge difference between what you can do with marketing, and that was around the time of GPT 3.5. So it was still not possible to do actual sales with GPT, but it's just sparked the imagination of where we are going. And I also saw that it's not just about the conversation, it's also like, how do you manage these relationships with millions of people who are coming into your website or are trying to understand more about your product? There was no product for that because that problem was not exist, because no one thought it will be possible to talk with everyone. So you don't need to manage relationship, you just need to manage events, so I saw a huge opportunity, and just around that time I was working as during my partner evaluation program. I was working with a person called Michael Kolomenkin. He was leading the research at Playtika. We were bouncing ideas together. And there was a point where I told him, like, I'm gonna open a company, like tomorrow.
I'm doing it. I'm jumping in.
I'm doing it. You wanna do it with me? And at that point, he said, yeah. I want to introduce you to another person who might do it with us, and it was Aaron Avitzur, who is now my partner. A long story short, Aaron jumped the ship, not jumped and started the company with me. Michael decided to become an advisor, and here we are today. And I think that if I had to go back into that time of really thinking about ideas and stuff, I would recommend myself to jump faster. Even though I jumped from my jobs and was looking for what to build, I was still trying to think about the best idea or the best company or the best industry. And also there are people who are very, I would say, rational, and that they could really do that. I'm this type of person who is more biased to action and just do things, until something sticks. So you need to really be connected to who you are, and just be yourself, even in this path of thinking what to build.
So let's say, let's put it a little back together, because you very eloquently kind of walked us through the dead bodies of ideas you had to step over to kind of get to where you are. But why don't you tell us, like, where are you? Where are you now? Like, what does the company do? Where is it in its development stage? So people can get like a good idea of what we're talking about. And also, with the danger of sounding like cliche, you are an example of a company that's kind of using the AI in new ways, right? So I think that would be very interesting to hear.
Yeah. So today we are working with around 20 B2C brands, mostly in the US. There are some in Israel. We are helping those B2C companies, usually companies who are selling relatively complicated products, insurance, real estate, finance, but also some selected e-commerce, helping them engage with their clients so that they can sell more over a conversation, over a relationship with their customers. So we call it one-on-one sales conversations at scale. We are bringing that another layer of sales on top of their marketing funnel, and it goes really, really really great. We are increasing the number of clients by 100% every 3 months, and also the revenues. And I think that we've built that company as a company from the ground up, so everything is being in the product is being managed by different agents. So there is the negotiator agent who helps with these clients who need negotiation, and there is the agent who understand the actual need of the client, and there is the agent who just goes on and on each conversation and think what will be the best message to send the client to re-engage with him. Think about these. One thing that we've learned is that a great salesman, it's not just about having a great conversation with your client. It's about managing that relationship. Okay. It's about thinking when is the right next time to call Hagai and ask him what's going on, if he spoke with his wife, or if he checked the market. And that follow up is something that is really hard for good salespeople, because it's somehow, in some ways, contradict. Yeah. A good salesman is a people person, okay, and usually is very talkative. Is a people person, but the the work of following up is the work of consistency, okay, and being very consistent and play by a certain, like by a play methodically, and really follow up every time. So the AI is just doing it enormously well because he's just very consistent, and
And he doesn't get tired.
he never
Doesn't get
he never
tired. Doesn't
tired.
get
He's not
bored.
tired.
Doesn't
He
doesn't
doesn't
have I
get
don't
bored,
feel
and
like
he's
it.
not. And no, he's not sad when he's hearing no, which is the one of the hardest thing for a good salesman, is to hear no, to hear that it could kill your day sometimes. It's a hard profession that involves a lot of mental work. And one thing that AI is doing very well is that it could hear no, and then just a moment after, or just at the same moment, talk with another person and be super energetic to do so. And also know when he's not, when agents to get in, which is something that we are doing. We are building a full platform that allows to work in autopilot mode, but also with a copilot mode with different agents who are just, increasing the throughput with excellence. Yeah, that's where we are.
So let me ask you. Let me not ask you. Let me play the devil's advocate. Okay. Let me push back, and I'm sure there's all things you heard from potential clients or when you buy this. Like, it's like, okay, it sounds great, right? And I think we all have a sense that it's possible, right? Like that this is possible. But how do you ensure the quality of work? how do you ensure, and it's not to say human beings are better, right? Because also human beings are not always quality.
Yeah.
But in the context of it, how do you ensure the quality of work? How do you ensure the quality of conversation? How do you, what about negative feedback? This is a robot talking to me. I don't want a robot to talk to me. Like all those pushbacks. Like, what do you say to that? How do you deal with that?
Okay, different questions here. Let's go one by one. First, how do we control the quality? Different. So we are investing a lot of.
And also, what is quality? Also, maybe even what is quality?
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. We are investing a lot of time in thinking about these questions and also implementing, the guardrails and the qualitative processes to ensure a qualitative product. So one way you can look at quality is by purchased or didn't purchase, right? Like if it was that's just one way to look at quality. And we are, of course, doing so and improving our models based on that question of did the client purchase or not. Another way to check quality is engagement. Okay, how long does it take to the person to answer a message, and also what's his intent, or what's the overall what's the overall feeling that we can extract about the client after he's answering? Is he happy after receiving our message? Sad? Anxious? We learn all those things, and based on that, we improve our quality all the time. So those are two really important things that we measure all the time: engagement rate and engagement quality, and also the purchase rate and the purchase quality. We attribute to ourselves only sales that there were at least 2 messages sent by the client, so we can say that the conversation actually led or at least did help to push the client to a purchase. So those are 2 ways that are very strict. The other ways is actually having human sales people, sales strategies that we hire and work with us that goes over conversations to really check our quality in a qualitative way and be connected to their actual conversations. So at the very beginning, when a company is being onboarded, we are spending a lot of time, human time and effort with the company. And as time goes by, we reduce that amount of time, but we always do these checks. And we learned that those are very important ones because at the end of the day, as we talked about, sales is really about psychology and connection, and you wanna make sure that these things are nailed. And of course, if someone wants to speak with a person, it's in an automated way. We just route him into a person and we call it escalation. We manage a conversation by exception. So if someone wants to speak with an agent or someone, or we just understand that the conversation doesn't go to a good place, we know how to, pause and notify the brand so that they can get in.
Okay. So that's how you do the quality part. But and what about even that, like, and we said the pushbacks, like we are hearing people saying, I don't want a robot to talk to me, right? It's like, do
so
people know even a robot is talking to them?
That question is really good and interesting. First of all, lots of people are saying it at the beginning. We see sometimes that someone said, can I speak with a person? And then they said, of course you can speak with a person. I will just notify him to get in touch with you soon. Until he's here, would you like to ask me some questions? And then people, they want to ask some questions because, and if the answers they are getting and the engagement they are receiving is good, they forget about their initial ask to speak with a person. The reason why people ask to speak with a person is that we think that the experience of talking with a robot will be worse than speaking with a person.
The answer depends, right? Even in my personal experience, I can say I depend. I've spoken to people And it was like one of the most horrible customer experiences I had. And I've spoken to bots, which was wonderful, right? It all depends about the
Right.
design, right?
So if you speak with a wonderful bot, you will not ask to speak with a person, right? Because that bot can answer you at 10 a.m., at 2 a.m. in the morning. And immediately when you need the answer, and be polite, understand everything you're saying. So I think that ask of can I speak with a person is going to disappear completely as technology will just get better. And we see it in conversations, like people ask and then they get their answer and then they don't want to talk with a person now.
It's a bit like,
Having said that, I want to say that there are still places where a person is
like what?
in these use cases. Someone language is coming back to philosophy. Language is very people bring a lot of context into language, and sometimes they don't write anything, and we as people and good salespeople and good people who knows how to make connections and really understand others, we learn a lot from really, really small amount of words about the feeling, about the intention, about the person that is speaking with us. And I'm sure that there are lots of places, and I'm seeing it also, that a salesperson or a person could do much better than AI in these use cases of selling, of minimizing the gap between the need and the actual product for clients.
Can you give specific examples you see that more than other places?
Yes, places where people, in long conversations with people, it's a lot of times it's about having the context, but also knowing the culture in which people are living. So in Israel, for example, if someone tells you sababa, after talking with you about,
which to those who don't speak Hebrew is an indication of great in slang.
Yes,
with
but
nuances.
It's an indication of great. That's the nuance.
Yes.
Sometimes sababa could be also a very like an indication of okay, leave me alone, sababa. Like it's
yeah. Like
yeah. And this very small nuance of understanding the tone and the time it took someone to answer, and all those nuances that at the end of the day tells you that this person is not in the mood of buying, is something that a person understands. Okay.
And an AI, not yet?
Not yet. Yeah, it's become a bit scary because we see that things are getting better and better. Or I don't know if the word better is the right word, but
the world is changing quickly and fast.
Yeah, the world is changing very quickly. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating.
But it's interesting because you're living it and you're one of the people pushing it, and you're talking about it and you're becoming very serious and very somber as you're thinking of it also.
What does it mean?
Like you're saying it's scary. You're using the word scary, but like people like us are enablers, right? Like we're also pushing this world.
I think that it's important that we will be the ones who actually have this more on standpoint and bringing the guardrails of what is possible and what's not possible and where do we want to take it. So we are really, for us, it's very important to say out loud that it's AI that is speaking with you.
Yeah.
It's important for us that when someone asks to speak with a person, he will speak with a person. It's also very important for us to empower sales agents rather than rather than working against them, because we see the huge value that as of today salespeople are having on the bottom line, and we know that for these complex negotiations and complex understanding of a person, a human being is much better than that. The only thing is that you cannot hire so many people in B2C companies because there are millions of people who are getting into your site. So you cannot have hundreds of thousands of salespeople to manage these one-on-one relationships.
Yeah.
So in my perspective, the way to think about it is, how can we do with one person the work of 100, or and help us as human beings go one level higher and do sales strategy, okay, and think hard, about the strategy of that relationship, rather than just than being in the follow-ups and that's how I think about it.
Basically giving humanity leverage. And I think that's, I mean, again, going back
Yes.
to the philosophy, it's like all major technologies gave us leverage, right? It's like
Yes.
the wheel
Yes.
gave us an ultimate leverage. Electricity gave us leverage, right? Like the phone, again, there's a lot of obvious things, and by the way, and a lot of non-obvious things, right? It's like the combination of caffeine and electricity helped us conquer the night, right?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
humanity, like was once like.
And by the way, there is a very cool podcast called Positive History, and it takes different inventions such as the elevator or electricity or whatever it is, and it shows how people reacted to that
Yes.
invention time. Okay.
And everybody was scared shitless at some point.
Wow, they were so scared.
Scared shitless.
Like elevators, people were so scared about the fact that they could go up now.
Yeah.
Like no one. So I think it's again coming back to our conversation about certainty. Me being able to be at that forefront of this revolution allows me to deal with that uncertainty that everyone here is living with, and we just need to be connected to our moral standards and understand that something big is happening here.
Yeah.
Be fully responsible for doing good in our environment, companies, societies.
So I want actually to take a step back, because I think we threw a lot of things. So I'm thinking of an entrepreneur that's listening to you right now, like the guy who's either selling insurance or has an e-commerce brand, and saying like, "Oh my God, this sounds amazing," but I'm sure also at the same time this sounds a bit abstract. Okay, so like maybe let's do like a bit of an onboarding. So I have a site that sells insurance. Is that a good example?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a site
Yeah.
that sells insurance. Okay, for cycle. Like, so
Yes.
I hear, Dan, that sounds amazing. Okay, it sounds amazing. Okay, I'm like, now what?
So now basically the product, what we do is we reach out to clients at revenue generating moments, those moments in which we understand that there is.
Let's take by step by step. So you reach out to the client, but it's an opt-in, right? Like,
Yes,
I need
it's an
to bring,
opt-in, of course.
So I already have some lead generation funnel, right?
Of course. You have a lead generation funnel. You collect phone numbers during that lead generation funnel. Okay, that's a
must. That's the step one. Some I'm collecting with consent.
And that's also differentiate us from marketing platforms. It's not about going to people who never heard about you. It's people who are interested. They want to buy insurance.
Some intent.
Now, okay.
There's intent.
Yes, they have intent.
I collected
they put their phone number.
leads with intent, and I got their phone numbers as part of a consent. That's step one.
Yes, and then at that point we start a relationship with the client, okay, over his preferred messaging platform. It could be SMS, it could be WhatsApp, and that relationship, of course,
that's the two platforms. That's the two platforms.
Sorry, yes,
SMS
today, yes.
or WhatsApp. Okay.
Yes, and that conversation or relationship is a multimodal relationship. It could happen. It could happen with voice, it could happen with images, videos, whatever it is. The most important thing is that
again, let's I'm being very, very specific, because again, most people never have done this. So text, I understand. What do you mean voice? What do you mean images?
So if someone send an image of his car,
okay,
that he want to ensure that we, of course, understands that we can, get context out of that. If someone write a voice notes instead of talking, we understand that. It's just it's a relationship on WhatsApp as you will have with any, like, as you know, relationships, and you can write it in. It's not a yes no, but it's talk, and we chose these asynchronic ways of communicating because we see that the world is going into asynchronic. It's not about text or phone. It's about asynchronic or synchronic conversation. And we chose to double down on asynchronic conversation. By the way, it's also very interesting because if you think about sales, it used to be a door-to-door sales. Okay. And no one thought it will be possible to switch to phones. Okay.
Yeah.
It was just crazy idea that you will sell what you were used to do over door to door. And now still up until today, no one think, if we go to, not no one, but lots of people don't think that it's possible to sell over WhatsApp or SMS. That actually when you need to sell, you need to call the person. So we saw that this is just not true. People prefer today to finish all the purchase over WhatsApp, SMS, and we have that conversation. So for example, filled his lead on the site or abandoned the quote, and then we reach out and start this relationship. Usually these relationships takes around a week to 3 weeks. It's a relatively pricey product.
What do you mean a relationship between the company to the lead?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the goal of that ongoing conversation is basically to increase conversion rates. So that's just one use case. We also do upsells and
so again, I really want to dumb it down because to the people who are not doing it. So okay, so we said here a few things, right? So there's already a lead collection funnel, and I get people's phones. I, as your client, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to be able to use the system? Like, do I need to teach it? What do I need to do?
Okay, so the onboarding period.
Yeah.
The onboarding period. During the onboarding period, what we do is we actually start with manual training, which means that we have our own sales strategist. We build a sales models specifically for that use case in that company. And then we start either with our own sales associates or with the company's sales associates to really sell manually. No AI, sell. Okay. Just when we feel like we've nailed the sales method, then we start automating the sales method. People are going the other way around. They start with the AI, okay, and then they are not selling. But as we talked about, sales is it's psychology, strategy, connection, and you really want to nail what's working before switching.
It doesn't help to scale up if you're scaling up shit.
Exactly.
I don't have to say it more bluntly than that. Yeah. As the client, I need to bring the lead funnel. I need probably some sort of like make myself available for your team to build like the sales strategy.
Or you can use our sales assistants who will do it for you.
And webhook integration, something.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like, I'm jumping in, but in a way, it kind of connects to part of our previous conversation but in a way, it's like the analogy that comes to my head is like that old joke is when you don't buy a drill, you buy a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
So in the end, everything's SaaS, right? In the end, it's like it's not that I want this specific technology, right? It's not that I specifically want CRM. It's not that I want the sale. I want the relationship. Right? Sort of thing, right? It's like it's not. I don't want a drill. Now I bought a drill. Now I have to find a place to put in the house, right?
Exactly.
It's like
exactly.
I want the hole in the wall. That's what I want.
Exactly.
That's a thing. It's a fair. So tell us. So let's go back to a bit. I think, look, that's impressive, right? Because in a way, you're taking responsibility. You're taking responsibility at this point to a lot of the process. So let's go back to the company formation. Did you guys raise money? You bootstrapped? How did you get your initial sales? How are you expecting to get your additional sales? Like, what are the clients' reactions? Like, let's talk a bit more about the company building your experience.
Sure. By the way, about the point about responsibility, I think that, and we see it in the numbers and also from the market, there is a place, and that's what we aim to be, to build companies that are sort of a luxury companies, in terms of the fact that we know that in order to really do sales, not to answer clients' questions, but to sell, you need to take responsibility over the process and to do the right onboarding, to do the right learnings, to really understand the psychology of the brand, the psychology of the client. And then you are able to sell. You cannot just hire a salesman and not teach them anything and think that after 2 months he will be a great salesman. Like, there are some stories of that, but usually you need to train him. And that's what we understand. We are here for those brands who really want to have a team of amazing sales reps. And that requires some responsibility from us as a technology company. And so that's just was an...
No, I agree, especially in the first days. Like, you have to take responsibility. You have to take responsibility on things that you're not responsible to move a needle. It's like, it was also my experience doing this thing, because especially when it's something new, a new market, a new way, a new process, like things like that. Even if you have a great client on the second part, it's like they only know what you know, right?
Yeah.
And you have to help them get there. I don't know. Again, I always like analogies because I think they help like frame things. So it's like, the most amazing fitness trainers, right? The most amazing fitness trainers. I'm not talking about the ones that make you feel good and your chip psychologist. I mean, the people who get you results, right? In the end of the day, you have to train, right? You are the person that has to sweat. Exactly. You're the person that has to wake up 6 a.m, go to the gym, lift and there. But the amazing trainer gets you there. The amazing trainer gives you the framework where you can sweat in. The amazing trainer takes your efforts that might have been 2x or 1x or 1.2x and hopefully gets you to 10x. That's the thing.
Talking about company formation, we are here for around 1.5 years. We raised money from angels and Rooney VC, which is a VC that is formed by IDC University. Very soon we will have some more about fundraising and about our place. So we didn't raise a lot. We are really seeing that the world is being changed. The world is changing, and we are using also a lot of AI in our internal work, coding, selling, marketing, which helps us to really build a lot with relatively low headcount. And we believe that this is also possible. Although we are hiring a growth lead now, so if you are, if you know someone, please
shout out.
Yes, yeah, that's where we are.
Okay, but and how did you get? So I want if you want to spend a little time on this, because for people who have not done it before, right? But they let's say going back to your experience, they killed a bunch of idea buddies, right? And they say, I'm going to jump in. Like, what happens? Like, I know it's great to say I'm going to do it, but like, what do you do? Like, how do you do it? Or at least how you did it. And of course, there's more than one way, but how did you do it?
Again, getting back into certainty, you need to create some certainty, and then people are just jumping in,
Okay.
Everyone wants to jump into to certainty. So basically, if you bring clients, which creates some certainty around your business, if you show product, which creates some certainty about your business, if you bring the right partners, which creates certainty, then everyone is joining. It's just this power law that people want to be where there is motion and to be where there is the feeling of certainty of something that is being built. So I just saw that when I'm just starting, okay, and closing deals with clients and closing deals with partners and building product, something happened. There is a company, okay, an
It's
entity.
real. It's not just an idea.
Yeah,
Something's
it's real.
happening.
And then people want to invest, and then people want to join. So that's just how it works. You
How did you get your initial clients? What did you do?
knock on the doors, on the LinkedIn doors. Hey, I want to consult with you. The first clients, what I learned to be best is just try to get into a 20 minutes conversation to consult with people, understand, like, tell your ground vision, but be very vague about the solution, and try to find few places in which they describe you what they need, and just build it fast.
So it's basically, yeah, I would like that. Then have say you come the next day, here I have it, kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. You need to come with the ground vision and see that it resonates. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
like you cannot just you can, but it's better if you want just come and say, okay, what do you want me to do, and then do it the next day, because you need to understand that there is an opportunity here, there is a market here, but once you are understanding there is an opportunity, and you are eh, imagining the world with that opportunity, then going into the market and ask them about the opportunity. Usually if there is an opportunity, they will tell you like tactical things on what they thought should be built.
Is there something that surprised you throughout this process? Like, I'm not like talking little surprises, but between the last year and a half that you've been doing this, you went like, that was unexpected, either good or bad?
In product, from the product
The
perspective, or
product, the business, the client reactions. Like,
yeah, I think that I'm really surprised how well it is working.
well, it's good to have pleasant surprises, right?
Yeah, because usually as a product person, you are looking for these places in which, and you're going to the market and asking, would you use it? And it's really hard to find something that really gives what value. It's very hard. Like, you work a lot, and for this one time that you find actual value for people. And it was fun to find these moments pretty early in the journey. I remember when we started in Israel with Israeli clients, but when we moved to the US, we were a bit concerned that the engagement will be lower or different, and we were really happy to see that, it's, at the end of the day, it's a really simple idea that people want to talk, and conversation leads to conversion. That's the very simple idea. And now you can allow that relationships at scale, but still seeing it working, it was really surprising in a good way. I think another surprise is, as we talked, is that you can just do things, just, you know, wake up, do things, and people will join if they see activity, if they see motion.
Yeah. It sounds like a t-shirt, right? Wake up, do things. That's a kind of,
Yeah,
that's a kind of t-shirt. Yeah.
you can just wake up and do things.
Yeah. Amazing. So when Dan, when you look forward, right? It's like, I don't know what time frame you are looking forward. Like, what do you see? What do you see the future holds?
I want us, and we will be in a 1 million ARR in a bit less than a year from now in the US, and keep bringing value to our clients with new use cases and new ways of communicating with their clients. That's from a business perspective where I'm seeing us. Yeah, that's my that's the ball right now. Eyes on that ball now.
Amazing. So as we're kind of wrapping up, any shout outs to the people listening? So one, you're looking for a growth person. Anything else you want people to know?
Just if you're a B2C brand and you wanna check how you can talk with all of your interested buyers and see how it increases conversions, just reach out.
So is it mostly complex product, or you would say if I'm selling books, is that also relevant?
I would say that it has to be relatively. We call it it's not us, but highly considered purchase. So it could be an insurance, but it could also be headphones, and it could be a mattress. But if you're selling a $20 shirt, I think it's less about the relationship building. We would prefer to work with brands who are selling highly considered products at scale.
Dan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a wrap. This Ageas podcast episode ends here, but you don't. Now, is it crazy to think that you know somebody who'd love this episode? Share it with them, and they'll love you for it.